Hi YouTube, how's everybody doing? This is Champion 2D Rob back again. First video of 2018 guys, how's everybody doing? I swear I feel like I'm well out of practice here. It feels like it's been a long time, which it has been. Yeah, I'm a bit out of practice when it comes to being on camera, so it's going to be a bit weird. But in any case guys, how's everybody doing? I just kind of felt like making this video. I just wanted to talk about just what I plan to do, a few videos that I plan to do. Essentially, some people have been asking me to do some collection videos, so I just sort of wanted to make a video and sort of say to everyone that this year I am going to do some collection videos, basically update a lot of the old videos that I did. So what that means is I'm going to be revisiting my Mega Drive collection because the last time I did a collection video was back, I believe it was in 2013. So yeah, so I'll be doing that again, and I'll be doing Super Nintendo as well as the DS because that has been requested. And I may actually do the PSP collection. Let me know, guys, if you're interested in seeing my PlayStation Portable collection. I have a lot of games for it. It's actually probably the one collection that I will say, though, that I haven't played most of the games, because at the time that I was buying for it, it was when they were like sort of super cheap and stuff. And I do have a sort of more pricey games as well, but that was literally more of a collection. I do plan to play them, of course, but what my intention at the time when I was picking them up was it was sort of to sort of build up a collection. So I wasn't playing them as much compared to other games, other collections that I have. But yeah, so you'll start to see some collection videos coming up, and yes, of course, that also includes Super Nintendo as well. So I will be redoing my Super Nintendo collection vid. I did sort of wrestle whether I was going to do it or not, because I haven't really added that much since my last video, and I didn't know if it was worth doing. But I guess if I'm going to update my collection videos, I may as well do pretty much all the retro stuff. So I'll also be covering Master System, NES as well. I don't have big collections for either, but you know, it's worth putting out there. And you know, I'll probably redo my PlayStation 1 collection video as well. I've never been happy with those videos, so I might redo those again. Honestly, I don't have the strength to do a PlayStation 2 collection vid. I might do one, but that's further down the line. But yeah, so those are the sort of videos I'll be planning to do over the coming months. So you'll see those. But of course, so let me know what you guys want to see as well. I don't really have the equipment to sort of do gameplay vids and stuff like that. But to be perfectly honest with you guys, I'm not really a fan of gameplay vids. I like sort of like commentaries over gameplay stuff, but I don't necessarily like watching gameplay vids myself. So it would seem odd for me to start making gameplay vids when I don't really enjoy them myself. I mean, I'm cool with other people doing them, but it's just not something I personally enjoy watching. So I don't see why I should make those kind of videos. But I do like the sort of vids where they sort of put gameplay on and they just sort of talk about other things. That's cool, but at the moment I don't have a capture card or anything like that, so I don't have the means to sort of do it properly. I was considering maybe doing going back to sort of more vlog type vids, just talking about everyday things. You know, let you guys, you know, create a window for you guys to see my life a little bit. But also just to sort of talk about, you know, whether it be gaming related topic, movie related topics, just stuff like that, just things that are on my mind. I thought maybe I'll make a few videos about stuff like that. But you know, tell me what you guys want to see from my channel, because to be honest, it's kind of hard to decide what people want to see. I mean, aside from obviously the gaming stuff, I know people like seeing the pickups, which is great. But I do want to sort of make more of an effort to create more variety as well in my videos. So, you know, just guys, just let me know what you guys want to see, what might interest you. But I know what does interest people, and that's definitely been the collection videos. So I will be doing those, guys. People keep asking me. I've had people asking me about doing a Super Nintendo collection, updated Super Nintendo collection video, updated DS video, as well as Mega Drive. So I will be covering those. I think probably the first out the gate might be Mega Drive or DS. But don't worry, I won't leave the others too long. I'll sort of start churning them out over the next couple of months. So you'll see those eventually. But yeah, so that's essentially my plan for 2018. 2018 for me personally is going to be a year of relaxation. Right now, I'm in a good place financially, and I kind of want to start doing things I've been wanting to do for a long time. This is non-gaming related stuff, I might add. Just sort of personal life goals, and probably the main thing that I want to do is travel a bit more. Just sort of go away. I haven't had a proper holiday in years, which is sad to say. Like I think my last proper holiday must have been at least 7 years ago, and that was like a 3-day weekend to Spain. But in terms of like going away properly, like for a significant amount of time, it's been 10 years at least. So it's been a long time. So yeah, I kind of want to start doing a bit more traveling. I've got a quick trip in May. I've got a stag do coming up in May, so I'm going to be going away for that. That's already booked and paid for, so I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be awesome. But in terms of sort of like a real sort of getaway, I've just sort of been deciding what I want to do, what places I want to visit. So yeah, I guess I'll let you guys know what I plan to do as time goes on. But probably the one location, which is going to come as no surprise to some people, of course, I want to visit Japan. Yeah, just I've always wanted to go there. I mean, obviously, anyone who's a gamer wants to visit Japan. I mean, if you grew up in my era, then you know Japanese gaming was like the thing of my generation. You know, the 8-bit generation, the 16-bit generation, the 32-bit generation. I mean, those were the times where just Japan just dominated the gaming genre, the gaming era, the gaming landscape. And I've always wanted to go. It's always been a life goal of mine. So it's something I'm strongly considering. It's probably going to be Japan this year. If not, I might just go see my family in the United States. I've been meaning to go see them as well, so I'm sort of like deciding. But if I don't go to Japan this year, I'll definitely go the following year. But that's basically what I'm planning to do this year. Those basically my goals. Now, going back to sort of the community, the YouTube community stuff, I definitely want to sort of go to some more of events. I know the last couple of years, you know, I've been terrible. I haven't been able to go up north, go see some of the other YouTubers in the community that have been going to like the Leeds market, Blackpool, the Manchester event, Doncaster event, all these sort of retro events that have been happening north of the country. I haven't been able to travel, and there were reasons for that I won't get into, but this year I definitely sort of want to try and go to some. At the moment I'm looking at possibly going to the Doncaster event in March. I believe it's in March. So there's a strong possibility I might be going to that. Hopefully everything lines up. But as far as I'm concerned, I want to go. You know, it's definitely not a financial thing. I can definitely go, but I'm just sort of trying to get the pieces together to make sure that the people I'm going with is all going, and we're just sort of trying to sort it all out. So hopefully that works out, and you know, maybe Manchester down the line. I know that Blackpool is happening in February, but I was not going to make Blackpool. It was just February's not a good month to travel. Plus, I don't really fancy the idea of going to Blackpool in February, if I'm honest. I mean, even at the time that it was on, the weather hasn't been great. But the last thing I want to do is head way up north in February. So it's probably not ideal. But yeah, I just think it's not a good time. But I think you know, March onwards is definitely going to be more plausible for me. So hopefully that all works out as well. Because I want to see a lot of you guys from the retro community, from the YouTube community, people that I do hang out with in person. You all know who you are. It's been a long time, and I want to see you all guys again. Yeah, and hang out with you guys, and have a few beers with you guys, and joke with you guys, and beat a few of you up. I'm only joking. But yeah, so that's basically it. But there is more. This is a pickups video as well. I don't know if I said that at the beginning. If not, it'll be in the title somewhere, so you guys will know what it is. So I'm not just wasting your time and waffling. But this is a pickups video. Not a lot of stuff, to be honest. There's some good stuff here, but not a lot of stuff. I haven't really been buying that much post-Christmas. Just a few bits and bobs here and there, things I really wanted to play, and also do have some great retro editions. To be frank, I do have some great retro games, stuff that I've been wanting to get into my collection for a very long time. So I'm very happy to add them. And I've also got a very special item as well, which I think I'll leave till last, because it's a very cool little item. I don't know if a lot of people even own this particular item, so yeah, I'll save that one till last. So I think the first thing I'm going to start with are some very small stuff here, just some bits and bobs for the I believe this is for the Super Nintendo Mini. Yeah, just the stuff that I need for the Mini that I not got around to getting. And the first thing I got was extension cables for the pads, kind of a must-have really. So yeah, got that. And I also picked up the official AC adapter, just basically an overpriced plug basically. But that's what we collectors are like. That is what we're like. We're anal about shit like this. Even though we could probably get like a plug for like £2, we're still willing to shell out fucking 50? Fuck no. £15. Well, I think it was about 13, 14 pounds, something like that. Can't remember now. For the official Nintendo plug for my Super Nintendo Mini. So I technically don't even need it, because I do have like a USB plug, but whatever. I wanted it because that's what we're collectors are like. We need the official shit. That's what we're like. We're weirdos. That's what we're like. Moving on. I also picked up one game for the 3DS. Not really picking up for the 3DS, to be perfectly honest with you. Not anymore. I think it basically peaked at Metroid. There's not much I want after that, but I saw this and I got it for a good price as well, and I thought it'd be a nice little addition. Not really something I tend to go for, but it's Kirby, so I definitely wanted to check this out, and that's Kirby Battle Royale. It's basically like a collection of mini games. I believe there is a story mode and something, but it's not like a traditional Kirby game where it's like a platformer. No, this is like just like a bunch of little mini games and whatnot. So I thought I'd pick it up, give it a shot. Next thing I picked up, and this is for the PlayStation 3. I don't buy PlayStation 3 games anymore, but this is one game that I just wanted to get because I'm a fan of the license. You guys know I go on about this license all the time, so I wanted to pick this up because I believe this has like the complete storylines and whatnot. So the game I'm talking about is Fist of the North Star 2, Ken's Rage, or Fist of the North Star Ken's Rage 2, should I say. I have the first game. It's basically a Dynasty Warrior sort of game, just go around beating the crap out of people. But this sequel here is basically expands on the storyline, lets you play as more characters. And yeah, I picked it up for cheap, brand new and sealed. As a fan of Fist of the North Star, it was just bugging me that I didn't have it. So I definitely glad to finally get it. I enjoyed the first game actually. I thought the first game was really good. I mean, it is repetitive. I mean, it's like a Dynasty Warriors game, you know. It's just run around and beat the crap out of loads and loads of opponents, and it's basically rinse and repeat. But I enjoy it. I enjoy in terms of, I'm not really a fan of the Dynasty Warriors games as such, but the license just appeals to me more. So, you know, any chance to play as Kenshiro is always a great time for me. So glad to get this. I also picked up one PlayStation 2 import game, Japanese game. Very cool game, very nice addition to have. Really chuffed with it, came in really nice condition. And that is Dynamite Decca, better known to us as Die Hard Arcade. And yeah, it's fantastic. I love the fact that they're on the PlayStation. There's so many Sega ports, and which is shocking because we didn't even get like even a quarter of the stuff that came out in Japan for the PlayStation 2. So it's nice to basically get Die Hard Arcade. I've always wanted to own this game. It's a fun game. I actually played Die Hard Arcade in the arcades back in the day. I remember seeing it just because it was such a weird game. I still remember seeing it in the arcades and saying to myself, "What, Die Hard? They made a beat 'em up out of Die Hard? That was weird." But it's very loosely based. It's barely got anything to do with Die Hard, but it's a fun game. And what's quite cool about the PlayStation 2 version is that you get the arcade version of the game, and you also get like an enhanced PS2 version. So it's basically the exact same game, but with better graphics. And it's just nice to see the comparison. And while I do actually, obviously the PlayStation 2 version, the enhanced version, graphically looks better, I will say that I still prefer the original arcade port. It looks rougher, yes, but it's more colourful. It's brighter, it's more colourful, it's more vivid, it's just visually more appealing to me than the PlayStation 2 enhanced version. I mean, basically the enhanced version has got the usual sort of dull, sort of dark graphics that most PS2 games tend to suffer from, which has always bugged me about the PS2. You know, I mean, the PS2 obviously does have some colourful games, but they generally, most games tend to have this sort of very dark and dull sort of colouring to it, which has never really been that appealing. But either way, they both play great, so it's great to finally own this edition into my sort of import PS2 collection. Next up here, I've got 3 PlayStation 4 editions, some really cool games here. First one up, this is a I think this is a limited run game. I didn't actually get this from limited run. I actually missed out when it was initially put on sale, so I had to pick it up on eBay. But I really wanted this game, and it is so much fun. I definitely recommend people check this game out. Whether you get a physical copy or you download it, definitely check it out. And that is Windjammers. This is actually a very old game. This game is a sort of like an early 90s arcade game, like a Neo Geo game. Essentially, what it is, it's basically Pong, or it's sort of like a top-down sports game, essentially, where you sort of throw a frisbee. So it's like tennis in that sense, where you sort of throw a frisbee and then the other character kind of has to catch it. So it's basically like a souped-up arcadey version of Pong, but with frisbees, and it's got very cool characters. It's very that sort of early 90s arcade style, Neo Geo style. So if you like arcade games, definitely check out Windjammers. I remember seeing this game back in the day. I never played it before, but when I saw it was getting a physical copy, I wanted it. But unfortunately, I was at work when this sort of came out, so I kind of missed. Excuse me. When I kind of missed the pre-orders, sorry, not the pre-orders. They don't do pre-orders on limited run, but it just sort of came on sale. You know, these things sell out quick, so I did have to resort to eBay, but I still got it for a reasonable price. It's a very cool game. It's such a fun game. Definitely a great pick up and play sort of title. So like I say, guys, definitely look it up. That's Windjammers. Very, very fun. Recommended. Definitely good for co-op play, local co-op. And if you just want a quick blast, it's definitely recommended. Next couple of games here, two awesome additions to my collection, and one is Street Fighter V Arcade Edition. I was dead against picking up Street Fighter V initially because of all the controversy with the fact that it was very basic, didn't even have a story mode, arcade mode, and all of that stuff. So when this was released, even when this was released, I still held off on picking it up. Because it was going for like 30 quid, and I was like, nah, I don't ever want to buy it. But then on Amazon it dropped to like under 20 quid, so I just jumped on it. I thought, like, for less than £20, definitely picking this up. And I've actually been playing this quite a bit. It's decent. I'm not gonna lie, I quite enjoy it. It's got, you know, it's got the extended characters. It does have the 12 DLC characters included, so it's basically got a roster of about 20 odd characters. And of course you've got the arcade mode and story mode and whatnot. It's basically the game that it should have been when it first came out, essentially. So if you have held off from picking up Street Fighter V, this is definitely the version to get. It is fun. It is fun. I'm not going to lie. I do like some of the new characters. I've completed some of sort of the little mini story modes. But I'm still working my way through it. But it's a fun game. Definitely nice to have. And the next one I've got here, and this is flipping amazing, and that is Dragon Ball FighterZ. And I had to buy this on day one. I rarely buy games on day one, unless they're in Uncharted or something like that. I don't buy these sorts of games on day one, but I just could not wait. And this game totally lives up. Fantastic 2D fighter from Arc System Works. And of course I'm a fan of Dragon Ball Z, so this is like, has ultimate appeal. This is basically the game that I imagined way back in the day. I'm talking about in the mid-90s here. I always wanted to see a 2D Dragon Ball Z game, and while there have been many over the years, this is definitely the one to get. I mean, it's flipping amazing, and it's very easy to get into, guys. I mean, if you've seen gameplay of Dragon Ball FighterZ and you're thinking, you know, this looks like it's too much. It looks very complex. It really isn't. I mean, Arc System Works have managed to sort of create a nice balance where a newcomer can just pick up, learn the basics, and look fantastic playing. You know, and of course if he spends a bit more time, eventually he'll learn the intricacies of the game. So it does have a nice level of progression that is, you know, you're able to ease into the game. But of course there's still a lot to master as well. But there's a great tutorial, so you're able to just sort of pick up the basics very quickly. It's a lot of fun to play. I mean, the license aside, you know, it's a very well made 2D fighter. I highly recommend this game for anyone who's a fan of 2D fighters, or if you're looking to get into 2D fighters but are a bit unsure with the sort of more modern ones. I say this game is actually very good for beginners. It's got a great introduction. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I'm so chuffed with this game. It's absolutely fantastic. I love it. I love it. Brilliant game. Next two games here, a couple of retro games here. Well chuffed to get these. These have been long time coming. I don't know why. I mean, I've always owned loose carts of these games. I've had them loose carts for a long time now. But I've always wanted these games boxed. Boxed and complete. And not just that, but in nice, lovely mint condition. In fact, oh, I don't want to take him out of the box protectors. Sorry guys, if I do it on camera, I'm going to panic and I might, you know, just damage the box. So I'm just a little bit. I'm not one of those weirdo collectors, guys. Trust me. But it's just, if I just sort of do it on camera quickly, it's just gonna freak me out. So, just sorry, guys. But anyway, I'll get on with it. Basically, games I've got, two Game Boy games, must-haves for me. And the one I wanted the most, and the game that means so much to me, especially from when I was a kid, and that is Super Mario Land. Now, weirdly enough, this game has been really difficult for me to get in the condition that I was happy with. I have always wanted to get this game boxed just because this was actually the first Game Boy game I owned as a kid. I remember getting it with my Game Boy, and I absolutely loved this game. Unfortunately, it was short-lived. My Game Boy, my Game Boy from when I was a kid was stolen, and unfortunately, Super Mario Land was inside the Game Boy at the time. And yeah, so don't worry, it ends well. I wound up getting like a few years after that. A friend of mine ended up just sort of giving me his Game Boy with a couple of games, and I sort of bought a few games after that, sort of like in the mid to late 90s. But in the early 90s, this is what I had. It was the one and only game I had aside from Tetris, and I absolutely loved it. I mean, I still play this game like to completion every time I start it up. I can't just sort of like play one level. I always play it right through. It's so much fun, so much nostalgic memories attached to this game. You know, it wasn't just myself. I also remember my other friends playing it, and it's also not just the game itself, but also why this game is a game that I remember so fondly, is because it just reminds me of that particular time, my friends at that time, what was going on at that time, and it was a very cool time period. I say like 1990, 91, 92. Very nostalgic for me, those 3 years. So yeah, this is definitely a very nice addition to have. But of course, I couldn't just go without the sequel. Now, I never owned this as a kid. I do own a loose card of it. It's a fantastic game, but I have Super Mario Land 3, Wario Land already. That was one of the games I picked up in the late 90s. But so I couldn't just get the first one, have the third one, and not get the second one. So many people I know vouch for this game. They say it's fantastic, and it's a fantastic game. It's a brilliant game. Of course, I don't have the nostalgia for it, but I still love it. I've played this game quite a bit. It's a fantastic game. I know many of you will disagree with me. I still prefer the original, but I think it really is because I got the nostalgia goggles on. But this is a fantastic Mario game. So much fun. Really, really good. Highly recommended. And it's in fantastic condition as well. So I'm really chuffed to finally add these two and basically complete my Mario games on the Game Boy. The sort of the initial three, should I say. So very, very happy to finally add these into the collection. And finally, guys, I have one peripheral here. This is a very cool item. This is actually something I didn't know anything about. Never, ever at any point during the PlayStation 2 era ever heard of this. I'd never seen it. I knew nothing about it. And then I just sort of stumbled upon it. And when I saw it, I had to have one. I had to have one. Because as a fan of 2D fighters, it's basically a must-have peripheral. And no, I'm not talking about an arcade stick either, because I have one of those and I love it. But I've always been more comfortable with a controller, so that's what I bought. But I bought a very, very cool controller, and what I got is this Sega Saturn Pad for the PlayStation, as you can see here. And yes, guys, this is actually an official Sega pad for the PlayStation 2. See, you've got the PlayStation 2 socket here. So basically what it is that in Japan, Sega released a bunch of Saturn pads, Saturn molded pads, should I say, for PlayStation 2 that were meant for the fighters. They never got Western releases. And essentially the company that released this was SLS, which means Sega Logistics Services. It's a Sega company. So it is actually an official Sega product for the PlayStation. And it feels just like a Sega Saturn Pad. So you've got the 6 buttons here. But you've also, of course, you've got 2 shoulder buttons. And it's got an excellent D-pad. Just right for fighting games. So really chuffed to get this. And but I will say, guys, this is not cheap. It is very expensive, which is probably why not many people bring it up, because I believe it might have had like a limited run in Japan. I'm not too sure. There are definitely a few color variants, but they're very expensive. I mean, even I bought this used, but they go for silly money. I mean, I'll tell you right now, guys. I paid over 100 for this. I think I paid about 140, which is very expensive. But I'm a hardcore 2D fighting fan. You know, that's why I bought this. But for those of you that, you know, not really into sort of arcade games, or only have a passing interest, or are happy to use arcade sticks, then this isn't really necessary. But for those of us that prefer pads, this was, for me, this was a must-have, and I'm really chuffed to get it. But yeah, these basically go from anywhere from 150 to 300. You know, if you want a brand new one, it goes for like 300, 400 pounds. It's very expensive. But yeah, I definitely wanted one to use, and yeah, just chuffed to get it. Very interesting stuff. And in case anyone's wondering, this is the official SLS stamp on it. And yeah, really cool item. Never seen this before, so it's very, very nice to own. So that's it, guys. That's basically what I've picked up in the last couple of months. Not a lot of stuff, really. Yeah, that's basically it. Just wanted to put a video out there, guys. That's it. That's really what I want to do. I just wanted to put a video out, just to say hello to you guys, just to let you know that I'm not dead, and yeah, that I will be putting out content, especially with the collection videos. Those are definitely coming out soon. And yeah, so again, guys, just let me know what you guys want to see. Are you okay with seeing a variety of topics? I know some people enjoyed that that sort of Wu-Tang sort of guide that I did way back when. I was thinking about maybe returning and doing the follow-up to that. Let me know what you guys want to see. Just bear in mind that I don't have a capture card or anything like that, so I can't really do any sort of like proper gameplays and stuff like that. I'd love to, maybe something to consider in the future, but right now, you know, do you guys just want to see me just turn the camera on and talk about random shit? Just let me know, guys. In any case, guys, it's great to be back, and I will see you guys sometime soon. Bye bye.